sa inyong mga tagapakinig.
Good morning, Professor. And ang unang tanong natin is ito tungkol dito sa trust ratings ng Pangulong Marcos at ni VP Sara. Atay ko mang isipin ito, Professor, parang ano ba talaga yung hinuhusgahan dito? Why is this survey important and tama po ba yung processes?
Of course, kami sa pananaw ng scientifico, that means political science, no, sa pag-aaral, ang binabasihan talaga namin ay what we call either quantitative data, like itong surveys na to, or qualitative. That means you focus, group process certain voter behavior, citizen behavior. So sa akin, tatanggapin ko yan as a magandang sukat, ano bang pagtingin ng tao. We might not like the result, but sabi nga ng iba, perception is reality in the minds of these people. And Pulse Asia, just like the other firms like Social Weather Station, they've been here for 30 to 40 years already, telling us this. So we have to react on how the numbers are. On the part of the president, he continues to be challenged from the public point of view, yung pangako tungkol sa flood control. That's one. And pangalawa, yung talagang tinatawag kong affordability ng buhay ng tao. We are in a cost of living crisis. Mahal ang kabuhayan ng taong bayan. Of course, minsan sisisihin mo yan sa gobyerno. Na si Vice President Duterte and any Vice President always gets the benefit of the doubt.
Yes.
Noong panahon ni Vice President Binay, umabot pa nga siya to nearly 80 to 90% of Filipinos trusting and satisfied with him.
Yeah.
So, dahil nga pinagbibigyan kayo kasi hindi naman kayo namumuno ng pamahalaan. In this case, it's the president that is being made accountable by the public.
Very good explanation, I think, Professor. Pero ganito po yun. Lagi naman sinasabi, di po ba, na ang survey ay isa lamang na snapshot at that particular time, no, which the days or weeks after may drastically change, Pero kasi po sa common tao, pag sinabing ay tumataas ang trust ratings ni VP Sara, bumababa ang trust ratings ni Pangulong Marcos, parang may comparison pero
walang comparison dapat yon. As I've said earlier nga, ang Vice President ay hindi sinusukat pareho ng Pangulo. Kasi ang Pangulo, siyang namumuno ng gobyerno. So, ang VP Sara ay simply, tulad nga ng ilang mga Vice President through the years, gets the benefit na hindi sila ang sinisingil, hindi sila ang pinanagot kung may kahinaan o kapalpakan ng pamahalaan.
Professor Dindo, tama po yun sa explanation ninyo. From a scientific standpoint, sa mga common tao, this is a comparison of apples to apples. It is a popularity contest, let's put it that way.
Hindi siya popularity contest, Peter, kasi hindi naman sila magtutunggali sa eleksyon. Yan ang apples to apples kung magtutunggali sila sa eleksyon. Right now, we're talking about two separate positions na hindi man lang magkakaroon ng pagkakataon magbanggaan sa isang eleksyon. So we have to view things not from that perspective, but simply view the different ratings as a performance point of view ng sambayan ng Pilipino.
Why the need for the survey ng ganitong panahon po kaya, Professor? Considering na yung past 3 months...
ito ay ilang dekada na mula 1980s na quarterly sinusukat ng mga lehitimong survey firms sa ating bayan. Kasi ito nga ay nagiging basihan ng pagtingin. Paano ba ang performance? Nagtitiwala ba tayo sa pamahalaan? Specifically to certain individuals.
Opo. Kasi kung will there be another follow-up considering na the past 3 months, yes, it might be the regular
quarterly.
Quarterly. Yes po.
So
Let me just finish
you can expect
lang
them
po.
to run another survey by June, I think.
Opo. Because I just wanted to look at it lang din po dun sa issues surrounding the country ngayon or that's been hounding us. Yung mga nakaraang 3 buwan, the past quarter, medyo parang die down, mababa yung natin bumaba na yung ating want dun sa yung fervor dun sa corruption, bumaba rin yung parang wala na nga nangyayari dun sa flood control investigation natin. Ngayon nagfe-flare up na yung eto naman magiging economic effects netong Iran war, no? So
kung babasihan natin yung release ng Pulse Asia, lahat-lahat naman tayo siguro nabasa o natanggap ito. Pangalawa pa rin sa napaka-importanting issue ang corruption. Kaya nga sa akin, hindi siya nag-die down. Hindi lang siya pinag-uusapan maybe sa media, pero sa tao, humihingi pa rin sila ng pananagutan.
Mhm.
But on top of that is yung economic issue.
Mhm.
Kaya itong Iran-US conflict is really a big challenge for us because it will hit us as we have felt it this past few days and week.
Mhm.
Yung oil price natin at ikalawa, sana wag naman umuwi ang ating mga OFW
Mhm.
o matakot na magsiuwian kasi it will affect naman our remittances, which is a big source of money for the consumption of our people.
Mhm. Do we, yung mga normal na kababayan po ba natin, sir, tinitinan din po ba itong mga resulta ng survey para tignan kung ano ang maaaring maging epekto, no, nung
Hindi ito dapat tinitingnan, Rika, dapat kasi ang survey ay baliktad. Tinitingnan natin ano ba ang nasa saloobin ng ating kababayan.
Yeah.
So it's the other way around. The
Yeah.
public is being measured ano ba yung mga importante sa kanila at sana maging basihan ito ng aksyon ng pamahalaan or iba't ibang political leadership in our country. But the public does not see it that way. They don't even react maybe to the results of survey,
Mhm.
but it's a good source of how they feel to
Mhm.
measure how they feel about certain issues and certain challenges of their day-to-day life.
Mhm. Opo. Ang tinitinan ko lang din po kasi, no, well, I was about to point out yung sinabi niyo rin po. But also kasi din po, he can't run for office na wala naman na siyang any higher position, no, that he's gonna be running for pagdating na susunod na election. How can surveys like this affect yung overall pananaw ng mga tao para po with him and all the people surrounding him come the next election?
Sana naman itong mga ganitong survey, kung ikaw ang pamahalaan, tulad ng administrasyong Marcos Jr., ay makita nila kung saan ba sila kinukulang. Kasi yung performance rating na hindi maganda, below 50%, may pagkukulang ang tingin sa inyo ng taong bayan. So we need to understand it at kitang-kita sa resulta nga as per the press release. I'm not the spokesperson of Pulse Asia. I'm just relying on the official press release that I was able to read that the top concerns of people ay presyo ng bilihin, trabaho, kita, kahirapan. But in between those four economic issues
Yeah.
are governance. Kailangan panagutin. Hindi dapat kalimutan na naandyan pa rin ang flood control sa utak ng ating taong bayan. May nagnakaw, may ninakaw, at panagutin sila kung sino ang may ebidensya. Hindi lang yung kung sino yung sinisiraan. Diba yun ang naging problema sa flood control natin. Madaming lumalabas na witness na hindi naman mapanindigan yung mga sinasabi nila. So sana evidence-based, kasuhan, panagutin.
Po. Inevitably, sabi nga nila, etong war sa Middle East will definitely, I think, sink the trust ratings, no, ng Pangulo in particular. But then again, ang tanong nga po, babalik na naman ako doon sa kaninang pinag-usapan natin na dahil maraming responsibilidad ang Pangulo ng Pilipinas, siya yung masisisi pag hindi maganda ang naging tugon dito sa economic crisis na kinakaharap natin. Ano po. Pero when you talk about the Vice President, and as it is, in reality, wala naman siyang hawak na cabinet position. How then should the people think, pag tinanong sila sa trust ratings, anong pagbabasihan nila nun?
Kasi right now nga, minsan, ang pagbabasihan is pag minsan walang pangit na balita, positibo. Kasi hindi mataas ang rank rating ng Vice Presidente. Ha? Mas mataas pa si VP Leni Robredo sa rating nung panahon niya as Vice President. So maganda nga yung tanong is, pag umusbong, gumalaw itong impeachment proceeding, magkakaroon ng basihan ang publiko in a different perspective. Mapag-uusapan na naman na talagang merong question in terms of accountability sa paggamit ng pondo ng bayan. Nandyan din yung performance as a Secretary of Education nung siya ay namumuno ng isang importanteng departamento. So dun dapat siya sukatin. Pero right now, since tahimik sa issue, parang steady. Hindi siya tumataas. Steady yung kanyang rating. At sabi ko nga, hindi ito historically high compared to other vice presidents.
It may be, baka hindi historically high, pero at the same time, again, no, I think the reaction is that Ba't ganun? Bumababa ang trust ratings ng Pangulo pero steady o medyo tumataas pa yung sa Vice President? I know what you're saying, sir, no, na hindi dapat pinagkukumpara. But yun ang magiging initial reaction ng mga tao siguro po na when you talk about trust ratings, it must be based on something. Alam natin yung sa
Pero
presidente.
sabi ko nga, Peter, no, sa pananaw ng tao, yun ang tingin nila sa vice presidente. No? Hindi natin mababago ang paningin ng tao. Kaya nga tanggapin natin ang paningin ng tao at kung gusto nating masukat ng mas mabuti ang vice presidente, magandang pag-usapan din sa media yung mga impeachment issues against him na nagpababa sa suporta sa kanya noong 2024. Baka yun ang magandang gawin ng media rin, pag-usapan yun, lalong-lalo na ito'y umaandar sa House of Representatives. Pero kung dito pag-uusapan, walang pananaw ang tao na negatibo kasi nga, iba ang tingin nila. Iba ang pagtingin nila kasi nga walang nababalitang masama naman. Tandaan natin na minsan ang nakalulungkot sa perception, no? Sabi nga, ang perception ay realidad sa utak ng taong bayan ay yung issue na kung walang napag-uusapang negatibo, positibo ang perception nila. No? Tanggapin natin yung realidad na yon at kaysa hinihimay natin yung resulta ng survey, ay tanggapin natin yung resulta ay isang pananaw ng nakararaming Pilipino.
Opo.
Ang media po ngayon merong legacy media at meron ding social media. Ano po? So
yan ang mahirap ang laban kasi sa social media, wala siya tatawag na editorial honesty or minsan, di ba? Malaki ang issue ng disinformation na nangyayari. So, kailangan natin labanan yan. That's the greatest challenge to our democracy, especially as the Filipino public shifts to social media as a source of their news or online news.
Opo. Sir, talo naman po ako sa usapin natin sa Middle East, no, at ang epekto nito sa ating ekonomiya because mukhang from the pronouncements of all players involved, mukhang tatagal po ito. What we are fearing are economic repercussions dito sa ating bansa and syempre, mas babagal yung economic growth ng Pilipinas. The US is even preparing for a possible kung magkaroon man ng recession, kung tatagal pa po ito, no, baka magkaroon ng global recession. Sa tingin niyo po ba ang epekto nito sa Pilipinas might be mas malala than what we experienced nung COVID times na malaki din po yung naging epekto sa atin?
Let's not project things that we cannot control, no? Unlike COVID, it was a complete shutdown of the economy and the world economy. Right now, what we need to see is if this lasts, what's affecting us right now is really the flow of oil, no, from the Strait of Hormuz. And it's something that we need to watch out, maybe in a week or two. But if you would look at reports, Rita, on movements of military ships, may reinforcement na nangyayari dyan, no? At maring behind the scenes, nag-uusap din yung iba't ibang bansa. A big part of the oil that moves or the trade that moves sa Strait of Hormuz actually goes to Asia. No? So baka tamaan nga tayo dyan. So yun ang dapat nating bantayan, but it's hard to project. So let's just be hopeful na masettle na yan if that Strait of Hormuz gets cleared or gets protected. Then it will be a good sign for us. Unlike a COVID, we were in lockdown, we don't know what will happen. So this at least will be under the control of certain geopolitical forces. No? Will EU support it? Will the NATO might not like what is happening with Iran and US, but see it as an economic reality that they need to confront with, no? At so sa akin yung oil, the flow of oil is very important sa atin. And pangalawa nga, yung binanggit ko kanina yung remittances.
Opo.
Kasi sana safe ang ating mga kababayan at huwag mag-uwian.
Opo.
Kaya yun ang ating kailangan bantayan. I think a little over 1,000 has asked to be repatriated. Sana wag nang dumami. Kasi kundi, tatamaan yung mga padala that sustains naman yung consumption ng mga kababayan natin sa ating bansa. So it's a good way to wait and see, but also a reality check na kailangan maybe sa gobyerno, kung sino man administrasyong ito, we need to be more strategic. Ba't tayo nag-rely sa isang parte ng mundo when there is natural gas in other parts of the world? Why are we sourcing it from Qatar? Why are we sourcing oil from Iran and the Middle East only when there are other sources?
Opo.
Why don't we use our relationship with the U.S. who has a supply of oil and natural gas? No? So these are things that is a wake-up call to our government. We have relied so much on the Middle East, and we have seen how the Middle East continue to be a source of tension and conflict that can affect our life. No?
Opo.
Oo.
Professor, do you think na dapat US pa yung mag-defend doon sa Strait of Hormuz, or should international players also come into play katulad na lang ng NATO just to keep the peace doon sa Strait of Hormuz para lang magpatuloy yung flow natin ng oil?
I feel that the U.S., who might be seen as at fault for causing this conflict, should not be the only one. No, I think there are relationships that can be used. That means, as I've said nga, back channeling na pwede bang pag-usapan nyo to. Kasi nga lang, siyempre madaming walang respeto sa pamumuno ng leader ng U.S. ngayon, si Trump. Dahil nga yung mga masyang arrogant nature against other European nations. But I believe naman there will be an opportunity for all these people to talk, especially to ensure the free flow of oil, to ensure the global economy moving forward, even if there's this conflict or between the two.
Yeah. Prof Dindo, yung may mga analysts na nagsasabi na dito sa current oil shock or oil crisis na ito, ang most vulnerable sa ASEAN ay ang Pilipinas at ang Thailand for whatever reasons, no? Ngayon, let's
Hindi
talk.
naman, yung mga analysts na siguro basahin nila yung mga data. 38% of the oil that comes from the Strait of Hormuz is China. Next is Japan. Next is South Korea.
Yeah,
No,
pa
and the
yung
rest
mga
is the rest of
Chinese
Southeast
vessels po.
Asia.
Yung Chinese vessels po nakakatawid ng Strait of Hormuz eh.
Yun nga ang dapat natin tingnan.
Di po ba?
Sila nakakatawid? Di ba
Yeah.
hindi nakakatawid?
Eh syempre,
Oo.
BFF sila ng Iran eh.
Yun ang gusto ko rin tingnan, di ba?
Okay.
So may mga magkakampi sa labang
Yeah,
ito.
let's talk about inflation, Professor. Yung December inflation natin sa Pilipinas are 1.8%. January 2026, 2.0, tumaas na. February 2026, 2.4, tumaas ulit. Anong prediction po ninyo or forecast
Well,
for March?
I am not an economist, but I don't even follow the government numbers in inflation. Ang tinitingnan natin, balikan lang natin yung itong quarterly survey ng Pulse. More than 50%, 60% of our people believe mahal ang bilihin.
But
Yun ang
you know,
dapat natin intindihin. Mahal ang bilihin. At lalong mamahal ang bilihin dahil nga sa pagtaas ng presyo ng langis.
but at the very least, feeling ninyo tataas pa ang inflation or bibilis pa ang
Tataas
inflation?
tataas. At sabi ko nga, ang inflation in the eyes of economists is different in the eyes of the public. Sa publiko,
Yeah.
parang bus yan. Nagmamahal ang kabuhayan namin. Dahil hindi naman ganyan ang presyo dati.
Opo,
Pero
opo.
ngayon, pinatungan dahil nga may problema. Yan ang
Oo.
pagtingin ko dyan. We have to look at it in the eyes of the Filipino public who will be now suffering from a high cost of commodities sa
Yeah.
day-to-day lives nila.
Yeah, and it's gonna get worse before it gets better. Professor, opo. So we'll leave it there for the meantime, Prof. And I think we will probably call you again dahil marami pang mangyayari.
Matagal pa to.
Bantayan natin ang mga pangyayari. But ako naman, I'm a perennial optimist that we will find a solution to all this. Maybe not in the eyes of the U.S. or Iran, but other countries that believe that we need to protect the economy of the globe. The global economy natin.
Opo, salamat
Alright.
po,
Okay.
Professor,
Thank
for
you
your
very
time.
much,
Thank
Prof.
you po. Good
Dindo.
morning.
Maraming salamat. Thank you.
Thank you po, ating geopolitical analyst and president ng Strat-based ADR Institute, Professor Dindo Manhit, joining us this morning. Matagal-tagal pa to. Kaya,